The Transformation of Our DNA is Leading Us to Universal Truths by AbZu, April 13, 2016. Website, abzu2.com. Produced by Higher Self.
We have been stuck in a universal time matrix that has been disconnected from higher dimensional frequencies for thousands of years. Our DNA is finally catching up and breaking through restraints which have halted our progress. Somehow, we've agreed to do all of this to ourselves. However, humans will soon know and understand why 97% of our DNA has a higher purpose and why its transformation is leading us into an awakening that we never could have imagined. True self-realization and soul awakening requires expansion of our existing beliefs, beyond the restrictions of your programmed belief system, opening up to the absolute universal truth. We come into this planet knowing the universal truth. As we grow up, we disconnect from the universal truth and inherit our family's belief system. Our parents' beliefs usually end up being the foundation of our beliefs. The foundation of this belief creates our restrictions. The universe has no restrictions. We create the boundaries based on our beliefs. These boundaries limit our spiritual growth, inner development, which affect our DNA and vice versa. Our DNA exists not only biologically, but dimensionally as well. Scientists study the aspects of the DNA phenomenon and have learned much. What they do not yet understand is that our DNA is much more than a functioning biological entity. It is our harmonic signature universally. If we were to hear the tones generated by each segment of each strand of our DNA, we would find that they create a collection of harmonic frequencies that, when combined, duplicate our exact harmonic frequency. That harmonic frequency is our universal identifier. There is no other who carries that frequency, which is our own. In essence, we exist with our own harmonic resonance. Our genetic structure operates much in the way a satellite system works as a transmitter and receiver. It is our biological and energetic connection to all things, not only environmental but universal. The frequencies found within our genetic structure are very fine, light. In fact, according to the findings of the Russian scientists, the genetic code follows the same rules found in human languages. By modulating certain frequency sound patterns on a laser array, they are able to influence DNA frequency and genetic information. The most interesting aspect of their discovery is that simple words and phrases can work just as well as laser beams. Man can literally reprogram his genetic blueprint through words, which explains why affirmations and hypnosis can have powerful effects on mind and body. Healing with sound and words lies within man's power. This discovery also points to the significance of sound frequencies and vibrations in the origin of human life, and the possibility that creation was generated by waves of consciousness. The phantom DNA effect is a case in point. The energy field of a DNA sample remains detectable by laser light even when the physical sample is removed. At a fundamental level, man is pure energy. In wave genetics, the junk DNA functions at a rich infrastructure level of supercodes and wave communication, realized in material form as crystalline structures, dynamic gene holograms in liquid crystals of the chromosome continuum. What this model suggests is that the human gene is part of larger holograms, multiverse, of wave information reality. Hypercommunication, in the form of remote sensing, remote healing and telepathy, is definitely a part of the human protocol. Scientists are aware that 97% of our DNA is, as they call it, junk DNA. They call it junk because they don't see that we have any use for it. Only 3% of our DNA is wrapped up in the spiraling double helix strand. During the time of the 75,000-year cycle, when we are exposed to the most torsion energy waves, and it affects our DNA by reorganizing the 97% junk DNA from a 2-strand double helix to a 12-strand helix, advancing man in a leap of evolution. Empty space is not really empty, but filled with the invisible torsion wave energy at different degrees of concentration. Thus, as the stars and planets drift through the galaxy, they pass through different concentrations in very exact intervals of time, with precise cycles that can vary in length from thousands to millions of years. As planets move through periods of high concentration of these torsion waves, a transformation affects the DNA structure on the planet, which causes more highly evolved forms to more rapidly replicate than less evolved forms of life. Ample evidence of this is seen to occur through our fossil records, which evolution has shown this to occur in sudden jolts rather than as a gradual process. The effect has been named as punctuated equilibrium by mainstream biologists. Our current solar system has major cycles of approximately every 25,000 years, precession of the equinox, and a really high shift of incoming torsion wave energy every third cycle or 75,000 years. The year 2012 is our solar system reaching this 75,000-year arrival point in our cycle. The torsion energies have been noticeably increasing since 1998. All matter harnesses torsion waves to sustain its existence. An atom is actually a vortex of etheric energy, where the negatively charged electron clouds are pressing in towards the positively charged nucleus. Geometry is also a major factor in the quantum realm, since it represents the natural form that vibration creates in a fluid-like medium. These naturally occurring etheric vibrations will cause atoms that are released from a tiny nozzle to gather into perfectly geometric microclusters, which act as one large atom in their own right. When a planet reaches this third set of 25,000-year cycles, the energy upgrades automatically whether its inhabitants are ready or not. The extent of these leaps vary. This current cycle propels our evolutionary processes up to the point that there will be a really big change, which is ascension. This ascension process happens routinely in planets through the solar systems as they evolve. That is why in the past 50 years there has been an increase in communications of ascended masters from the other side that have too gone through this process eons ago. They are here to help us make the transition of these new torsion energy waves coming in, and their effect on all matter. However, their help never infringes on individuals' free will. Higher frequency energies being transmitted by the forces of light onto this planet allow individuals that are open to receive, through their beliefs and mindset, to activate their higher chakras, 7 to 15, which opens their central channels, universal kundalini, raise their frequency and DNA between 2011 and December 2012. These activations help bypass the restriction programs being activated on this planet. The restriction program energies got activated in March 2011, force field of energy that restricts human ascension process, and went full force in December 2012. Those that do not raise their frequencies will fall into these energies and will not be able to ascend to the higher dimensions, beyond dimension 11.5. The DNA of most people on this planet has already been mutated. That is why only 3 to 5 DNA strands are active instead of the 12 to 48 DNA strands. The distortion of this planetary grid system thousands of years ago caused a mutation in our DNA structure. The original human had a minimum of 12 DNA strands, 12 fully activated higher senses, 5 lower and 7 higher. Full access to the higher divine mind and memories of life experiences in all timelines. The average human being today has only 3 to 4 DNA strands active, 5 functional senses and no memories of who they are and why they are on Earth. Those that are awakening are seeking higher level answers and processes to activate their higher DNA strands and raise their frequency. We need to clear all past issues, forgive ourselves and others, release all negative energy patterns in our system, generate loving thoughts for ourselves and others, expand on the restricted planetary belief systems and open our mindset to the universal level. This initiates the basic process to open ourselves to receive our full power, activating the pineal and opening the higher heart center, sacred heart at the thymus. With activation and clearing of the 7 lower chakra seals speeds up the process, opens the higher chakras, raises our frequency levels and opens the higher paths through the central channel to our higher layers. On an esoteric or spiritual level, almost all teachers agree that the objective of this school we call Earth is to teach us to love one another. The more unpleasant the world, and its leaders and controllers, may look to us, the more inclined we are to not act the same way. And that ultimately is the whole point. In more scientific terms, we can argue that we are going through an energetically programmed evolution at this time. Evidence shows this energetic evolution has direct effects on our level of consciousness, and even the structure and function of our own DNA. What is ascension? It's graduation day. Moving from the third dimension to the fourth density dimension, Although some sources state we'll move from 3D to 5D, all planets do it as they evolve, since torsion waves see to it that things progress. What happens to the third density Earth? It physically goes through a rebirthing process to start the cycle all over again, taking millions of years and millions of stair-step jolt cycles to evolve upwards again. However, ascension takes place far in advance of Earth's changes, so it isn't an issue to life forms on Earth. Third-dimensional humans experience themselves separate from each other and preoccupied with issues of survival and self-awareness. Fourth-dimensional humans have the conscious awareness that they are a part of each other and connected by loving energy oneness. Supposedly a third-density body could not live on a fourth-density planet, as the DNA would no longer be supported by the torsion waves of that area. Some sources state that we will have telepathy and be able to instantly think into being what we want. Consequently, the ability to controlling your thoughts will be paramount. 4D Earth will look just like 3D Earth, but your daily physics involved will be different. The ascension will happen instantly, although some cultures state their sources say it's a 3-day process which you are in darkness for those 3 days. You may wake up one morning and the colors in your room are much brighter, and when you jump, instead of coming right down it takes you 30 seconds to float down. So, essentially, ascension is just another name for the process that beings go through as they change densities. Contemporary metaphysical scientists, such as Greg Braden, call it zero-point energy, the photon belt, or etheric energy. As our solar system passes through this invisible density of energy, significant changes are translated down to the physical level. Since torsion energy affects all matter, this process of change is known as the awakening, or as the ascension process. We need to transcend our fears and learn about love, real love, which has to start with the self, because until we can love and trust ourselves, we cannot truly love or trust anything or anybody else. The symptoms. 1. Body aches and pains, especially in the neck, shoulder and back. This is the result of intense changes at your DNA level as the Christ seed awakens within. This too shall pass. 2. Feeling of deep inner sadness for no apparent reason. You are releasing your past, this lifetime and others, and this causes the feeling of sadness. This is similar to the experience of moving from a house where you lived in for many, many years into a new house. As much as you want to move into the new house, there is a sadness of leaving behind the memories, energy and experiences of the old house. This too shall pass. 3. Crying for no apparent reason. It's good and healthy to let the tears flow. It helps to release the old energy within. This too shall pass. 4. Sudden change in job or career. A very common symptom. As you change, things around you will change as well. Don't worry about finding the perfect job or career right now. This too shall pass. You are in transition, and you may make several job changes before you settle into one that fits your passion. 5. Withdrawal from family relationships. You are connected to your biological family via old karma. When you get off the karmic cycle, the bonds of the old relationships are released. It will appear as though you are drifting away from your family and friends. This too shall pass. After a period of time, you may develop a new relationship with them if it is appropriate. However, the relationship will be based in the new energy without the karmic attachments. 6. Unusual sleep patterns. It's likely that you'll awaken many nights between 2 and 4 a.m. There's a lot of work going on within you, and it often causes you to wake up for a breather. Not to worry, if you can't go back to sleep, get up and do something rather than lay in bed and worry about humanly things. This too shall pass. 7. Intense dreams. These might include war and battle dreams, chase dreams or monster dreams. You are literally releasing the old energy within, and these energies of the past are often symbolized as wars, running to escape and boogeymen. This too shall pass. 8. Physical disorientation. At times you'll feel very ungrounded. You'll be spatially challenged with the feeling like you can't put 2 feet on the ground or that you're walking between 2 worlds. As your consciousness transitions into the new energy, your body sometimes lags behind. Spend more time in nature to help ground the new energy within. This too shall pass. 9. Increased self-talk. You'll find yourself talking to yourself more often. You'll suddenly realize you've been chattering away with yourself for the past 30 minutes. There is a new level of communication taking place within your being, and you're experiencing the tip of the iceberg with the self-talk. The conversations will increase, and they will become more fluid, more coherent and more insightful. You're not going crazy. You're just moving into the new energy. 10. Feelings of loneliness. Even when in the company of others, you may feel alone and removed from others. You may feel the desire to flee groups and crowds. As Shaumbra, you are walking a sacred and lonely path. As much as the feelings of loneliness cause you anxiety, it is difficult to relate to others at this time. The feelings of loneliness are also associated with the fact that your guides have departed. They have been with you on all of your journeys and all of your lifetimes. It was time for them to back away so you could fill your space with your own divinity. This too shall pass. The void within will be filled with the love and energy of your own Christ consciousness. 11. Loss of passion. You may feel totally disimpassioned, with little or no desire to do anything. That's okay, and it's just part of the process. Take this time to do nothing. Don't fight yourself on this, because this too shall pass. It's similar to rebooting a computer. You need to shut down for a brief period of time in order to load the sophisticated new software, or in this case, the new Christ seed energy. 12. A deep longing to go home. This is perhaps the most difficult and challenging of any of the conditions. You may experience a deep and overwhelming desire to leave the planet and return to home. This is not a suicidal feeling. It is not based in anger or frustration. You don't want to make a big deal of it or cause drama for yourself or other. There is a quiet part of you that wants to go home. The root cause for this is quite simple. You have completed your karmic cycles. You have completed your contract for this lifetime. You are ready to begin a new lifetime while still in this physical body. During this transition process, you have inner remembrances of what it is like to be on the other side. Are you ready to enlist for another tour of duty here on Earth? Are you ready to take on the challenges of moving into the new energy? Yes, indeed. You could go home right now, but you've come this far, and after many lifetimes it would be a shame to leave before the end of the movie. Besides, Spirit needs you here to help others transition into the new energy. They will need a human guide, just like you, who has taken the journey from the old energy into the new. The path you're walking right now provides the experiences to enable you to become a teacher of the new divine human. As lonely and dark as your journey can be at times, remember that you are never alone.